Welcome to the ALX Show, your premier source for DFW real estate data and insights. Let's get to it. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the ALX Show. Today is a special episode because we are going to be talking about a new venture launched from the ALX team called Silverton Capital. And Silverton Capital is a private lending arm focused especially on fix and flip loans and helping new construction projects get off the ground with new capital, and lots of other things going on with Silverton Capital. And today I've got Christian Mercado and Patrick Dunn to talk about this new venture and what it's all about. So Christian, we'll start with you. Tell us about Silverton Capital and what you guys have going on launching this here in late 2024.
Yeah, so we're excited to have been working on Silverton Capital for the past few months now. We're going to be providing first lien position loans to fix and flippers out in the DFW area, those that are in new construction as well. So, you may have heard of the term hard money. It's really just quick financing with minimal red tape compared to what a traditional bank might do. And it really is just for helping maybe newer investors or intermediate investors, take on volume or get started. A lot of banks out there may tell if you've got your first flip going, they may tell them no because they don't have, REO or any type of track record to give to the bank. So, we're going to just be able to, we're going to provide that opportunity for folks that want to get invested in real estate.
Awesome. Very, very exciting. This is a good time too. A lot of people are saying that this may be the bottom of the real estate market with interest rate cuts coming, and maybe the next 12 months are going to look stellar. So to have access to capital to take advantage of that is going to be huge. Patrick, how would you introduce Silverton Capital? How would you describe it to new folks?
Yeah, similarly to Christian, got a little bit different perspective. Christian's great background in the operation of rehabbing homes and all of that, which lends itself real well. My background is on the financial side and began my career in banking. So it's kind of a unique perspective to be jumping back into that after being on the ownership side for a while now too. But I would describe it as it is a fund that wants to provide capital to help grow and solve the housing shortage that we have here in Texas right now. And so this is our way of playing a part in that, and doing so by combining all the strengths that we've got and all the experience that we collectively have, having been on, whether it's Christian who has been flipping homes, me who has a background in lending to real estate investor groups, the ALX group as owning and operating all the different asset types that we've done, multifamily. We forget too, when we began, we did a lot of ground up construction as well. And so we've went on that, and then, we've developed that. And then, Shane has been a part of lending to home builders as well. So when we kind of put that all together, we're like, man, we've got every perspective, and the best way for us to combine that for good in tackling something that everyone wants to see relief on, which is increasing home supply and making homes more affordable. And, for Texas, that it made sense that would be the route that we would take.
So it's basically combining a bunch of different expertise and experience that you have as a collective team, mashing it together and helping new homes get started or housing projects get started, individual real estate side of things. So Christian, given your background as having done a lot of fix and flip type projects, if you were to put your perspective in the shoes of a potential investor that might be listening to this, that's interested in doing a fix and flip project, what kind of opportunity does Silverton create for something like that? Like, is it something that you would have found really useful when you were, especially going through a lot of projects? And I don't know. I'm trying to get a sense of like, what would it be like to see Silverton, knowing that you have these projects that you want to get your hands on, but you just need the capital, you need an easy way to get money. So yeah,
Yeah.
just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how it's kind of gone full circle for my own personal journey. Before I came on board with ALX and Silverton, I had spent most of I got started in with flipping homes through the use of hard money. So my first few deals, the financing was provided by hard money lending companies, and through that journey, it pretty much projected me into building a portfolio of residential and then commercial. Um, and so it's kind of funny how now we're in the place of the lender, and I get to help operators on the ground facilitate their journeys in building wealth for themselves and their families. Um, so it's kind of cool to see and an interesting perspective. So, um, if early in my journey, I would have loved something like someone like Silverton to come alongside and help me. One, just because of the different experience that each of us provide, the different perspectives. But a lot of times when it came to the deals early on that I got into, um, I wasn't asking questions that could have led to other conversations with, the lenders that company at the time. I was just looking for whoever could get the deal funded. But knowing what I know now, I would have kind of dug it a little deeper and, just you never know what a conversation could lead to with someone on our team, for example, whether it's multifamily operations or banking or what have you. Um, I feel like we've got that burst or diversified experience that can give the borrower a better perspective, and kind of just help them and guide them along and help them grow.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Well, thanks so much. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about more of the details of Silverton. So I know there's certain loan types, there's a certain process that borrowers would have to go through to get access to that capital. Can maybe Patrick, I can start with you. Tell me a little bit about the deal types that you have, and then maybe the process for a new borrower and what that looks like.
Yeah. So our initial focus is really going to kind of encompass two areas. We're not completely limited to that, but primarily this will be what we are kind of chasing after and looking for. The first big bucket is going to be the fix and flip loans. You can hear that a lot from us. That's a just classic investor buying a home that they need a gut or facelift, whatever, in order to improve the value. And so we want to provide capital to those folks, like Christian's saying. Those are shorter term duration. Ideally, you're in and out of those as quickly as possible, and on to the next one. And working with folks who will, over time accumulate a portfolio or continually be working on new projects. The second bucket is residential new construction. So this one is more directly attacking what we talk about, the home shortage, the housing shortage that we've got nationwide. This is more directly focused on that. So over time, our background being in having done a lot of this development, worked with a lot of home builders, have built relationships with a lot of home builders. And there are specifically a few of them that we still know real well. And know, one, that this is a big need. And two, that there's folks starting out that we can work with that we trust and kind of have that built-in relationship already. And so that can look, the lending to home builders can look a few different ways. A portion of that is going to be helping them with land acquisition. So in a typical development, you've got the developer who's going to bring in, a handful of other builders to fill out the development. A lot of the ones that we look at are probably on the, more boutique scale of number of lots within a development. And so those will be, and then each builder they work with, they've got a takedown schedule that they've got to purchase, X amount of lots every so often to begin developing. And so an easy void for us to fill is helping them with that takedown of their lots. So a builder might have 4 or 5 lots that they've got to close on by January 1st. And, they might not have immediate plans to begin developing those because they might be finishing the last 5 that they took down, but they've got a contractual obligation to meet that. So Silverton can come in, lend to them to close those lots, and then will, be taken out in one of 2 ways. It'll either be, there'll be 3 options. The first would be we continue to do the loans for the actual ground up construction. The takeout option number 1 would be they refinance our loan with a traditional bank to do the construction loan, or they will find a end user buyer to buy the lot with the idea of that builder then building a custom home for them. But in that case, the end user will go get their own mortgage financing apart from us. So that's really a big way that we'll probably fill that void. And then they can do the whole construction, like I said, with Silverton, and just make that as convenient as possible. And then, other opportunities will likely arise through kind of being in this ecosystem that we want to be prepared to help capitalize, if that wasn't a long enough answer.
That's great. Well, maybe this is a question for either of you, but what do you think makes Silverton unique in its private lending kind of space? Like what you talked about some of the gaps that you're filling maybe on the developer side, but maybe more as part of the team or what you guys are offering. What do you think makes you guys a compelling offer for future investors or borrowers?
Yeah, I think it's just a mix of that on the ground knowledge, whether that's local to the DFW market from an economic perspective, or from my network of folks that I know that are still out there doing deals every day. So just having that firsthand knowledge to, again, the best deal any investor can do is the one that you're not going to lose money on, right? So just pretty much guiding them and sometimes lenders out there will just lend just to lend. It's not even about whether the deal is good or not. And they don't really care about the borrower on the other side. It's more so like, we're going to get our points or whatever. We just do the deal to do the deal. Here we have that firsthand knowledge of the local market to backstop it if we need to, and just stop them from making a mistake or moving forward on a deal that, just because for a lot of new borrowers and new investors, they want to do their first deal, so they're excited and their emotions are tied into it. If we can come and like I said earlier, just kind of guide them and help them along their journey, and maybe even possibly stop them from doing a not so great deal, that'd be great on our end too.
Yeah, it's in our best interest, obviously, for all the borrowers that we work with to be successful. And so the beauty is we know what it looks like to execute successfully in this world. And the first most critical thing for us is deal evaluation. We only want to lend on projects that are going to be successful. And so that's an easy point of analysis from us. And it's fun because on all of these, we've got the dual perspective of Christian, Josh, Shane having done all these projects before, and then me coming from the other angle on the financing side. So deal evaluation is critical, but something that's a skill or easy for us to do because we've done it for so long. And then, you know, we know because we've been on both sides of the table what makes it an easy relationship for a borrower. So we want the process to be pain-free, simple, make it repeatable for them to where they can come back and they know what they're getting and they know that it's not going to be a hassle and a headache and a beat down like it can be with others. And so, and then we're weighing that with, prudent underwriting standards. And so that's kind of where my background always goes. And it's good to be with guys like Christian and John, who are always looking at more visionary, this is going to be a successful side. And so we're kind of pairing those two ideas together to, have an appropriate risk appetite with what we put out.
That's great. I love that. That's awesome. Well, is there any closing thoughts that you might have for borrowers to take away? Anything else that you guys have been thinking about, or maybe internal conversations that have been really helpful? Just the way that you guys are thinking about it or approaching it, and really want borrowers or listeners to take away from what you guys are launching.
I think borrower-wise, Christian hammered this, and I'll reiterate it succinctly, that we are a resource. We're not just a commodity putting out capital, but we do, like Christian says, want to walk alongside them. And we've got a lot of this experience where a newer investor might be short on something or in need of a contractor recommendation or, in need of something that came up in an inspection that they want guidance on, whatever it is, that we're there to help them through that and want to be a partner in it, because their success is going to make everyone more successful. And we want to breed repeat borrowers who've got a great track record. I mean, that will benefit all of us. So that's the goal, from the borrower perspective. And then real quickly from the someone who may invest in Silverton's perspective, this is, I think, a really neat opportunity to get a secure position that's still going to pay a really nice cash return to the investor. And so I think that's unique. You can get high yielding cash returns in a lot of different areas in the market right now, but not all of them have, the additional security of, it's primarily first lien deed of trust positions. So I think that adds a nice component to it, and hopefully one that investors see as attractive as well.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that part up about investors. There's two sides of every financing, so I neglected to talk about them more. Okay, great.
We want to be a resource, a solution for borrowers out there, whether it's their first deal or their 20th deal. And we want to be able to efficiently execute the product that we provide without, junk fees or anything like that. When we're able to provide a clear and concise offering, that's important as a borrower, knowing what you're getting and not, you're at closing and there's all these fees on the closing statement. You're like, what are those? None of that. It's just going to be straightforward to the point, and then a resource that we can grow alongside with the borrowers.
I love that. That's so important. I was listening to this podcast recently, talk about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger doing deals based on like 1-page contracts, just because they're good people. They want to be, offering a good quality service to people that are going to, treat them fairly and execute the deal. So it sounds like you guys have that kind of mentality that want to be good men that are stewarding resources well and want to work with other good folks that are, bringing capital projects to life here in DFW.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, guys, thank you so much for your info. And I'm so excited about this launch. I think it's going to be a great, great service for all kinds of different real estate projects and folks in that community within DFW. And I can't wait to see how it takes off. So if anyone is interested in further information, you can go to silvertoncap.com. That's silvertoncap.com, where you can apply for new capital or contact the team. And there's also some resources. So there's a free borrower's guide and a free house flipping guide that will help you get your arms around what you're able to do with this capital. So there's also a bunch of frequently asked questions and about fees and terms and criteria. So if anybody has any other questions, silvertoncap.com is going to be where you'll find your answers. Team, thanks so much, and I can't wait to see how this goes, and we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.
See ya. Thank you.